right here at Marquette. Somewhere between 36 and 46. We had a few classes that are larger than now. Anything I could. Cross country was brand new back then, so I did that. Baseball, basketball. I'm not sure that we offered much more than that. No, I do not, simply because my world focused on what happened at home, what happened at school, and what happened in the town, and that was it. Jimmy Carter passed through on the Delta Queen. I think that was during the time when I was in school, and that was a big event for the time as president. Unrest overseas because Vietnam required participation through the draft, and so there was some discussions in some circles about whether or not once you turned 18 you were going to be drafted for this, that, or the other. We had access to our parents' vehicles, many of us, not all of us, and the kids who were farm kids had access to vehicles most days. Some of them drove in every day, but not everybody, very few in fact drove in. Yeah, that was just different. Most of us had access to our parents' vehicles, and that was it. We lived in town, we lived so close, through 2 or 3 blocks away, so my brother and I and my sister, we all walked. It was easy, cold, but easy. The year that I was employed by a few folks, it was baling hay for a local farmer, it was washing dishes at a local restaurant, and I think working at the swimming pool as a lifeguard or something. As soon as, shortly after it opened, I knew we were qualified to be in there. Yeah, it was those 3 things, I think, were my first jobs when I was employed. There was some satisfaction in all the jobs. I didn't hate any of them. I don't know if I necessarily liked any of them, because they were all much different, but they all paid, and you know, once I got paid, then I was just a happy young man and went about my way. No, I didn't hate any of them, and I didn't really like one above the other, so no, it was all kind of neutral. There was a gentleman who taught here, his name was Ken Breck, and he taught things that I found interesting and fascinating, some topics that related to social studies and economics and the path to the future, and I liked math, even though I wasn't the greatest at it. I found it kind of fascinating, and those who did well at math did well at a lot of things, I thought. The availability of things within the classroom to expand the topic of discussion exponentially. I mean, you have the tools available in every classroom to, starting with the Chromebooks that you have, to research beyond the scope of anything we had back then. So the teachers have more tools, the students have more tools. It's boundless the things that you can research and find out on any given topic of the day. That's the primary thing. And other than that, the rest of the physical features of the school have improved dramatically over the past few years. That's another big plus. Having the MEC available, a very large gymnasium to support a bunch of different endeavors, that's a big difference from what we had back then. Communications, everybody's got a cell phone. There was none back then. There was telephones in the offices, and that was it. That's another innovation. It's another tool with which we can use to notify students for emergency purposes or other things, but yeah, back then that was nothing. There were a lot of nuns back then that taught many subjects, and that's all changed over now. That's another significant difference from back then. The grade school had a lot of nuns. I'm not sure that the high school did, if I remember correctly, but I know there were some here. But yeah, the personnel who support the staff and do the teaching, that's all changed also. At high school, basketball games down at the public school when I went to school here, but we had the practices in the Little Joe gym every night. So yeah, every night, varsity and JV practice together over here, and then we split up and do our own thing for a while. But yeah, that was always interesting. But we, you know, we worked with whatever we had, and that's what we had. So nobody thought twice about it.